winding through the savannas of Zambia. The Luangwa River, bursting with life in one of the greatest wildernesses in the world. But in dry season, the heat and the drought are crippling. We follow life here over one day, from sunrise to sunset. A young elephant struggles with both the heat and with mastering his unwieldy trunk. He's joined by a colorful cast of very different animals, large and small, who face their own challenges. To eat, sleep, and survive. This is the Africa of your imagination, experienced over one extraordinary day. The day starts early in tropical Africa. It's 5 in the morning, and already the sun's first rays are lighting up the sky. For the night's hunters, it's time to rest. Hyena cubs squeeze in one more game before the sun creeps over the horizon. They're still too young to be out and about in daylight, and retreat to the safety of the den. Hippos too seek refuge, returning to the rivers after a night of grazing. But many animals are just waking up, and it's time to begin the morning routine. Queer gather together at dawn to drink. These tiny birds take safety in numbers to extremes. Flocks can be 1 million strong. It's a constant conveyor belt at the water's edge, as hundreds of thousands of individuals snatch a few sips and then make way for their neighbors. In just 10 minutes, the whole mega flock has drunk its fill. Calm descends on the river once more. The sun is only just up. The day is still a surprisingly cool 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Baboons call across the treetops, reassuring each other that it's safe to descend. It's 6 o'clock. The first fingers of sunshine steal through the bush and start to warm the trunk of a sausage tree. It's a wake-up call for the little animals living inside. A bush squirrel. And another. In fact, this tree is home to a family of 5, a breeding pair and their almost fully grown pups. They've been squeezed inside a hole all night. A morning stretch is first order of the day. Squirrels can hang upside down thanks to ankle joints that can swivel 180 degrees and big gripping claws. This family is tight-knit. Even after a night of snuggling up together, they reaffirm their bonds each morning by grooming and scent marking each other. The best thing about living a sausage tree is that breakfast is right on the doorstep. Huge flowers have opened overnight, and they're brimming with nectar. Squirrels will often eat nectar when it's available. It gives them a big energy boost. Their long tongues are perfect for reaching deep inside the trumpets. And what they can't get to, they access by nibbling a hole in the tree. No flower is out of reach of an agile squirrel. But it's a sticky business. A larger family is also ready for breakfast. This 2-year-old elephant takes 2 steps for every one of his mothers. But at last the herd stops to eat, and he can catch his breath. The tall trees are out of reach of his little trunk. But no matter, he's still largely dependent on his mother's milk and won't be fully weaned for at least another year. Big brother barges in first. He's 4 years old and still occasionally nurses from mum. While he waits his turn, our little calf tries out his trunk. It's packed with 40,000 muscles, and using it takes a lot of practice. The elephants might travel up to 50 miles today in search of enough food and water. Lions are no threat to adult elephants, but they could take a baby, so it's important he sticks close to the herd. Even sleeping lions are best given a wide berth. Our elephant family's home is the Luangwa Valley in Zambia. It's at the southern tip of the Great African Rift Valley. Luangwa is one of the wildlife wonders of the world. It's nearly 500 miles long and 60 miles wide. A haven for some of the most spectacular animals on the planet. It's 8 a.m. and the temperature is rising fast. It's already nearly 70 degrees. Nocturnal terrors are forgotten, and animals that usually find themselves on something else's menu seem to let their guard down a little. But this apparently playful behavior, called stotting, has a serious side. It signals to any watching predator that these puku are fit and strong, not worth the effort of a chase. Every day brings new experiences for this baby puku, and today is no different. He's never seen cranes before. Standing over 3 feet, these birds are taller than he is. Luckily, Mum is never far away. By 10 o'clock, the sun has already climbed high in the sky. It's 82 degrees Fahrenheit. Things are hotting up. A female puku is in heat. She'll come into estrus every 25 days or so. And today, she's attracting some attention. Male pukus caught by tapping prospective mates with their forelegs. This young male doesn't seem to be getting it right. No amount of nudging seems to pique her interest. An older, dominant male has his eye on the upstart. He'll intolerate younger male in his territory if they are no competition. The young male is getting nowhere. He really can't take a hint. The dominant male has had enough. Time to show this greenhorn who's boss. If you want to woo the ladies, you need to have the right moves. The big male's obviously got what it takes. After all that, it's over in 2 seconds flat. By 11 o'clock, temperatures have risen to over 90 degrees Fahrenheit. Our young elephant and his family are on their way to the river. The elephant's large but thin ears help keep them cool. The increased surface area, compared to their volume, helps radiate heat away from their body. In this climate, every creature needs a strategy to beat the heat. These eggs risk being cooked in the sun, but their dark patches, as well as acting as camouflage, trap solar radiation in the shells, keeping heat away from the embryo inside. The eggs belong to this dicot. Birds usually sit on eggs to keep them warm, but this parent is keeping hers cool. by providing much-needed shade. Birds have no sweat glands, so she flutters the muscles in her throat. The avian way of panting. She's hot and vulnerable down here to passing traffic. Her protective instinct keeps her on her nest. As the heat intensifies, many animals head for water. This is the safest time for a drink. Predators are resting and are at their least dangerous. Luangwa River is nearly 500 miles long, one of the largest undammed rivers in Africa. Its natural cycle of annual flooding makes the valley inaccessible to people for much of the year. It's a pristine wilderness. In the dry season, the low river is a magnet for wildlife. The perfect place for a thirsty elephant family to come and drink. Our baby elephant is still getting to grips with his trunk. The trick is to suck up a trunk full of water and squirt it into your mouth. It's not as easy as the others make it look. Baby elephants get most of the moisture they need from milk, but the adults will drink up to 25 gallons of water this morning, and as much as 60 gallons over the course of the day. Babies finally got the hang of it. Water doesn't just quench thirst. It's also home to an abundance of fish. In the dry season, lagoons shrink, and fish get concentrated in shallow waters. Birds gather in fishing parties to take full advantage of the bonanza. Their fishing techniques are as varied as they are. Spoonbills sweep their half-open beaks through the shallows. The flattened tip gives the bill a larger surface area, increasing the chances of coming into contact with prey. The sensitive beak of a sacred ibis probes the mud, feeling for hidden invertebrates. Shuffling its feet in the muddy bottom, a hammerkop disturbs frogs and fish. A heron stands stock still and waits for a fish to come into rage. Its long neck gives it plenty of reach to strike prey. Precise timing is the key to success for pied kingfishers. The difference between a hit and a miss can be a fraction of a second. The water is a buffet and a blessed relief for heat, but it harbors dangers too. Unlike birds and mammals, crocodiles rely on their environment to maintain an optimal body temperature of around 89 degrees Fahrenheit. They bask in the sun to warm up, but must be careful not to overheat. The temperature is now nudging 100 degrees. Opening their mouths, known as gaping, help dissipate heat. But when it gets really hot, the only way to cool off is to get in the water. When everything's desperate to drink, a river full of crocodiles is a recipe for disaster. The puku's nervous disposition keeps them safe this time. They never drop their guard when drinking or give the croc a chance to strike. But these reptiles are not only hunters, they're scavengers too. Crocodile brains have large olfactory lobes for processing odors, and they can smell a carcass several hundred yards away. A puku has succumbed to the stress of the dry season. Despite their numbers, the vultures are no match for a hungry croc. A male puku, even a partially eaten one, can weigh over 130 pounds. But it's not a problem for even this relatively small crocodile. He's got his lunch after all. It's midday. The temperature is just over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Animals great and small seek shade. A slender mongoose, one of the only mongooses that can climb trees. A baboon spider, 4 inches long, the largest spider in Zambia. And a 2-inch corn cricket, a giant of the insect world. The elephants have taken a break in the shade as well. Elephants can doze standing up, but they'll lie down to get some proper sleep. Our youngster needs to recharge after keeping up with the herd all morning. A herd of Thornycroft's giraffe can't resist combining a rest in the shade with midday meal. Rubbery, prehensile lips allow them to pick leaves from among the thorns. These nocturnal giant eagle owls don't seem too pleased at being woken up. Our baby Puku has a sense of adventure, but if he strays too far from his mother, he could get much more than he bargains for. A leopard-spotted coat is perfect camouflage in the dappled shade of a tree. She's the ultimate opportunist, dozing here all day, waiting for something tasty to pass underneath her. But in midday heat, the little Puku just isn't worth the effort. A pack of wild dogs is also too hot to hunt at this time of day. It's 110 degrees, but it's never too hot to play. Their survival depends on pack, and playing is a way of keeping the bonds between them strong. Working as a close-knit team, they run down prey, have a far higher kill rate than big cats. 8 out of 10 of their hunts are a success, compared to fewer than 3 out of 10 for lions. Wild dogs are among the most efficient hunters in the world. Wild dog packs are made up of an alpha pair who have all the parts, and as many as 20 subordinate dogs whose role are to hunt and babysit. There is very little aggression within a dog pack. Even as adults, they behave much like puppies, playful and submissive. Everyone knows the place. Everyone looks out for each other. It's one big happy family. A brown-hooded kingfisher is a long way from water. But this is a kingfisher with a difference. He doesn't eat fish. Instead, he scours the woodland floor for insects or small reptiles. A little skink is no stranger to danger. His missing tail is a sure sign he's had a brush with death before. The skink being lucky once more. The kingfisher's found another lunchtime snack, an unfortunate frog. It's 2 o'clock. The temperature is still over 100 degrees. But the day has reached a turn point and can only get cooler now. The elephants keep on eating. These African giants have appetites to match their size. They eat up to 300 pounds every day and must spend up to 18 hours a day feeding. Our little one is still experimenting with using his trunk. A 3-banded quarter family wait till it cools off before they set out to forage. They sit out the afternoon disguised in the scrub. It's all about blending in. Being seen can have disastrous consequences. This one's lost a foot, presumably in a narrow escape from a predator. Mottled feathers are very hard to spot in this landscape, even for a sharp-eyed mongoose. This tiny chick is only a few days old and can't yet fly, but he already knows to make himself look as much like the ground as possible. The slightest movement will catch their attention. Our chick's instinct kept him alive, at least for now. dwindling lagoon is an oasis. Zealous in their feeding and start picking at the poor hippo's flesh as well. Two or three aren't much of a problem, but when numbers swell, oxpeckers can be very annoying. Buffalo are much less tolerant hosts. It's 3 o'clock. The temperature edges down to 87 degrees. But the noise level of the lagoon increases. Egyptian geese are here to breed. Couples pair up with the same bird each season to mate. Not all family reunions are happy. These birds are notoriously bad-tempered. rival males scrap over patches of territory. Squabbles escalate to full-blown fights, and feathers fly. The champion proudly proclaims his victory. By 4 o'clock, the sun's crept lower in the sky, and the searing heat has gone. The temperature dips to 75 degrees Fahrenheit. At almost 10 inches long, pied kingfishers are the largest birds in the world able to truly hover. One last catch of the day. An African skimmer. His extended lower beak is perfectly designed for an unusual fishing technique. Skimming the surface, he drops his bill and drags it through the water. It snaps shut the instant it touches a fish. Got one. Skimmers pair for life, and as with any long-term relationship, it takes a bit of work to keep things sweet. The fish is a gift for his partner. It seems to have done the trick. It's 5:30 and balmy 71 degrees. The elephant family will continue browsing through the night. They'll only sleep for 4 or 5 hours in 24, and they've already had a good nap today. Flocks of quelea return to the trees to roost. The collective weight of thousands of birds bends branches almost to breaking point. Baboons retreat to safety of the trees, their best bet for staying out of the jaws of predators at night. But antelope can't climb trees. This is the most nerve-wracking time of day for the puku. Blood will be shed tonight. As the last of the light fades from the sky, a new cast of characters takes to the stage. The night belongs to the hunters.